Welcome to an episode of Gov 101. These are probably the only words that I will say during this episode because we're talking about something that I have very little knowledge about. Very little. Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm Jeff Noles.
I'm Marcia Hampton.
And you're watching another episode of Gov 101. Today's topic is going to be our green initiatives in our community. Along with those green initiatives, we're going to talk a little bit about EarthCraft Homes.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about some of the upcoming green months that are Green Month. That is going to be coming up real shortly.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk a little bit about some of the codes that the City of Douglasville already has in place.
Okay.
And a little bit about what the green initiatives have for the future of the City of Douglasville and in our surrounding areas.
Well, I'm ready to learn because, as I said, very little knowledge. So I'll be quiet. But I'll ask some questions as always.
Great. A little bit of background. I just mentioned EarthCraft,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the green initiatives in our community. It was actually founded in the Southeast.
Really?
Yeah.
Where at?
Yeah, in Atlanta.
Really?
The Metro Atlanta Home Builders, in conjunction with South Face, began this EarthCraft Home initiative, and we've got one entire community in the City of Douglasville that is EarthCraft.
Really?
And that is tributary.
Nice to know.
Every home in that community is EarthCraft certified.
So every person in that neighborhood is green?
Their homes are. Don't know about them, I mean, green means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
I like Planet 51. Did you see that cartoon?
No.
Oh, okay, because they were green, but go ahead.
No, they're not like that.
Oh, okay.
But it could mean that, I assume. But it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, whether you're, a consistent recycler, whether you're a low power user, whether you focus on where your air conditioning and your heat are at, as prescribed by our power supplier.
So how much of a combination of all that stuff you need to do to really be green? Because I'm not feeling too green.
I guess one of the measurements is your carbon footprint. What do you leave behind as your carbon footprint is one of the measurements. It's just one of the measurements that'll tell you whether or not you're green or not. But just doing a little bit goes a long way.
Okay.
Do you recycle? No, Marcia doesn't recycle.
In my office, I do recycle. Look,
we're required to.
But look, no, this is a real true story.
Okay.
I removed my trash can out of my office because I felt like even if I ate lunch in my office, I can get up and I can throw the trash in the trash can in the kitchen.
And that's only because it stinks in your office and you don't like the smell in your office?
No. It's only because I needed a place to put all those maps, so I used my trash can as a container to hold stuff. But it caused a big stir in the office because people were like, where's our trash can? Where's our trash can? I only have a recycle bin.
Excellent.
See? That's one step.
Well, that's probably the most we use, too. I mean, here in the City of Douglasville, we use a lot of paper.
Yeah, we do use a lot of paper.
You're not necessarily throwing away. I mean, you don't want to throw away paper. You want to recycle paper. So recycling is just one component.
Okay.
The power usage, the energy consumption, that's one of the things that EarthCraft, that we'll talk about, focuses on. One of the other initiatives is LEED. We'll talk about that when we get into the code requirements for the City of Douglasville. But EarthCraft is focused around the residential home.
Okay.
It is what makes a home, energy efficient. They do a lot of things, and we're going to see a lot of those things very shortly. We've got a piece that was filmed on site in a EarthCraft home that was under construction, where they go through and they take a house. And they don't just seal it up because you think, if you just seal it up, then it's energy efficient. Well, it's not about just sealing the house up. It's making sure that you have negative and positive pressure in the house. And
who measures all those things?
EarthCraft.
So how long does it take to build an EarthCraft house?
No longer than it does to build any other house.
Does it cost more money?
It does. It does cost a little bit more money because a little bit more time and effort go into it. A little bit more time. A good bit more effort, but a little bit more time. And it's about sealing the cracks and caulking the areas around the window and ensuring that there's no drafty areas of the house. And when you get your air conditioning unit, it's, all those pipes that run through your house. Mm-hmm. It's about ensuring that those things are sealed up and there's no waste of energy that's going on in the house. And that's what it basically when they go in, they tape the whole house, the doors, and they hook this machine up and they suck the air out of it. And that's how you get part of your rating. But the entire process is through the entire process of building the house. It's not just when you're done, let's go check your house out. No, it's from the very beginning, from the planning phase all the way through to the final phase before you move in.
That seems very intense. Does a person who own an EarthCraft home have to do something special?
No, just live there.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you do your normal things that a regular home maintenance would involve.
Right.
You change your air filters, as regularly prescribed. And most everybody's thermostat unit will tell you now when to change your air filter.
We'll do that.
So, there's not a big difference in owning an EarthCraft home other than your power bill is going to be lower.
How much lower?
Significant? Enough to repay the cost of the EarthCraft installed components of your house within 5 years.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
that's very impressive.
That's one of the numbers thrown out. Statistics can be made to say pretty much anything, but typically you'll see the repayment within about 5 years, just based off your energy consumption in the house. We had some people in Tributary that came in and said, I lived in a 1,500 square foot apartment in downtown Atlanta. And now I live in a 3,000 square foot house, and my power bill is less than it was when I lived in an apartment.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and it's all about energy efficiency. So we're going to go to visit with Ted Cater from EarthCraft Homes on site.
And maybe he can teach me a little bit about EarthCraft.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Ted Cater. I'm with EarthCraft House. We're a green building initiative. Started in Metro Atlanta. We cover the Southeast at this stage. Douglasville has done a great job embracing green. Chris Collier with the Westside HBA has decided to try to make all the new homes that they build in Douglasville green, as well as the renovations that they're doing. He has taken a great stand and a big first step for Douglasville to restore and do a good job with its building stock. One of the things you notice about EarthCraft is there are a lot of builders that want to do things that are green, but EarthCraft actually helps them along the way set up a system for building a high-performance home, as we call it. High-performance home means you save 15% at a minimum, but usually closer to 30% in the energy efficiency of the home, which saves you 30% of your energy bill. One of the things to point out in the EarthCraft house is when you walk up to an EarthCraft house, you should notice that the slope of the house, the foundation, sloped away from the house. We're trying to keep water out of the house. We're trying to make sure that water comes down and away from the house so you don't get those long-term issues that you might have from mold, mildew, other health benefits. Another way we do that is in the pre-drywall stage, and even here during the drywall, you can see if you look around that there are various penetrations in the wall, particularly the wall interior, exterior, that are all sealed. One of the neat things you'll notice is along the base plate and the top plate, we require caulk or some sealant around there. What does that do for you? That prevents air from coming into your house. You notice in some older homes how some of these houses have a black mark around the perimeter of their home. That's because your carpet is acting as a filter because the base plate isn't sealed. Other things are not sealed in your home. Another thing to notice about that is when we think about the program, we try to cover a lot of things. So if you put a 2x4 on concrete, there's going to be gaps. And those gaps are where the bugs and critters get in through your house, as well as some of the penetrations on the outside that are sealed up. EarthCraft does a great job making sure everything is sealed up, but we also help with the subs for insulation, the HVAC. We make sure that all those are done pretty well. And if you notice, even the ducts that are in here, they are sealed up through construction so that you don't get the dust, the dirt, the construction debris that go into ducts a lot of time. What you want to do actually is go online, check out the website, earthcrafthouse.com, but ask your builder.
What we're doing is this is considered a knee wall, and any knee wall in the home where there's cracks, where air can be penetrated from the unconditioned space, which I'm standing in, to a conditioned space, which is the family room down below. You don't want air getting in here because it will decrease the R value of the insulation, which it won't perform correctly. So what we do is we take a regular can of spray foam. This is a professional run, but you can buy a regular crazy foam at the home improvement stores too to do stuff like this. And we're just going to seal the seams, and you just run it down the hole so there's no air leakage. We've used about 6 of these cans on this home. which really isn't that expensive. We've done applications here, also all the way around all the windows. Also got the same stuff. So any little holes that we find is what we're doing is we're filling them in to make sure that there's no leakage, so that your space stays conditioned. Pretty simple.
We're back.
Welcome back. So did you learn a lot from that?
I did, but nothing that I really could repeat to say that it all sunk in. But it was very interesting. Very interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Wait, that's all what goes into building residential houses.
Very interesting.
Which we know there's I don't know that we all know, but there's a whole other component of building outside of the residential component, which is the commercial component.
Yes.
That we build office buildings and shopping centers and everything else under the sun. And there's also an initiative for green building, for sustainable type building in the commercial environment, where EarthCraft is for your residential typically and primarily. The standard has been LEED.
I've heard of that.
And it's prevalent.
Yes.
It's out there. It's one of the it's basically one of the programs of the United States Green Building Council, USGBC.
So isn't LEED an acronym itself?
Yeah, I don't know what it stands for.
Yeah, I didn't know either, so I figured you might know. But yeah.
It's LEED, LEED.
Yes.
I know how to spell it.
Just don't know what it stands for.
No, but LEED is for the commercial environment. The City of Douglasville has taken some steps to basically ensure that before we ask anybody to do something or require them as part of a code, that we're doing it first.
Okay, so what are we doing first?
Our public safety and municipal court building, which was voted on in a GO bond referendum by the voters, is going to be a LEED certified building.
Wow. Will that be the first one? No, is that the first one in the city?
That'll be the first one in Douglas County, I believe, to be LEED certified, which is it's a pretty big deal. I mean, it's not every day that a LEED building comes around, but we through code have required ourselves to build every new building to be owned and operated by the City of Douglasville to be LEED certified.
Now, I heard that the conference center will not be LEED certified.
And the only reason behind that is really the timing of when it kicked off. There's a couple reasons why it's not going to be. It's kind of the timing of when it kicked off, when we required the code, and the fact that the City of Douglasville doesn't technically own the conference center.
Correct.
You've got your conference center authority, and unfortunately, we didn't require the conference center authority to build that. But in working with the architect, we've put a lot of the same standards in place. We just won't go through the rigorous testing and requirement standards that you would have to go through LEED, because it's not just building the building.
So if I'm building a building and say I'm just Joe Citizen out there and I just want to build a 2,000 square foot office building, does it have to be LEED certified moving forward?
Not today. Okay,
but
at some point in the future, you'll see all green standards incorporated into standard code requirements. I mean, it's not just because we can. It's not just because we want to. It's because it's absolutely necessary for the sustainability of our community as well as many others.
So if I'm thinking about this, if this is a future endeavor, say I'm 2 to 3 years removed, I probably should start looking into what it would take to be LEED certified.
Absolutely.
Okay. I
would, and whether it would be code requirement or not, I would certainly strive to achieve a LEED standard right now. I mean, it's absolutely necessary to be able to sustain our energy. We've got, we're growing by leaps and bounds. We're using more power than we've ever thought we ever would.
Yes.
In Georgia, you don't see it as much, but other states you see blackouts and things like that, and that's basically because we're using too much power.
Yeah, California.
They have their rolling blackouts. New York, we lost the whole eastern seaboard there for a day a couple of years back.
Yep.
We're using too much power.
Right.
And these types of initiatives cut down on the amount that we're using during peak times and off peak times. There's a lot that goes into it. Working with the police and the public safety and municipal court building has been very eye-opening. We go so far as requirements on cleaning supplies.
Wow. Like toilet paper?
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything. It's amazing, what they care about in order to certify a building as LEED certified. We have pest control. We have to use green pest control methods. You have to be careful as not poisoning things like we've typically been used to. You have a rodent problem, you poison them.
So will you have somebody that goes around and they're like the lead police?
LEED polices their own initiative. So
how often will they monitor the public safety building?
Once the building's complete, you won't actually get commissioned, which means you won't actually have your certification for approximately 6 months. You have to be in the building, you have to be operating the facility, and they come out and inspect and check the operation of the facility to ensure that it's indeed an energy efficient, environmentally friendly, sustainable structure. And
any citizen out there who would be LEED certified would have to go through the same requirements.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But it pays back. Like I said before, it's no different than the house. It'll pay back. It's based off its energy consumption. It's operating expense. It'll pay itself back. That initial requirement will pay itself back within a number of years. Some say less than 10. We've seen some reports that show it being less than 10 years that it'll pay back.
So what is it going to require for the City of Douglasville to, I guess, change its codes to make certain that we are complying to be LEED certified, and that anybody who comes in for a building permit, that it would be they will become LEED certified?
Right now we're self-policing because the code only requires that we do it.
Gotcha.
And once we get through this process, and we require it of everyone else, it'll be you'll see it advertised. It'll be part of a city council meeting. It'll have to be voted on for a code change, and the city council will have a number of discussions in committee, and then come out into regular session where they'll discuss it in legislative work session, and later on vote on it as part of institution into the codes of the City of Douglasville. Or one of two ways: if they vote it and record it into their the building code, we'll have to send it to the Department of Community Affairs for review. We've been through that process before. Wait our 60 days, and then when it comes back, we vote on it and then send it back to them so that they have it as a ratified code change.
Will we be the first city to have LEED certified in our building code if we went that direction?
Not in the United States.
Well, in Metro Atlanta.
In Metro Atlanta, I believe so. Yeah.
Wow, that'd be huge for us.
We're moving in that direction. I doubt we'll be first, just because it is such a huge initiative all over the United States, and it needs to be all over the world. But right now our focus is think globally, act locally.
Yeah, we can't conquer the whole world.
Cannot. So we're working on our city, and that's where it's at right now. So that's LEED.
Okay.
That's how it works into commercial construction. We've talked about EarthCraft and how it works into residential construction. EarthCraft has its commercial component.
Right.
EarthCraft commercial, and it deals mainly with smaller commercial buildings. And LEED has its residential component,
Shouldn't
which
they
is
just
LEED for home.
combine and just be the same?
At some point, they have so similar requirements.
Right.
You may see that at some point in the future, but right now, it's almost like a brand.
Gotcha.
You've got two different brands going on right now.
Gotcha.
So
they'll merge at one point.
Maybe.
They need to.
Maybe not.
One may do one better than the other. Might as well.
You never know.
Well, I have one green initiative. Not really a big initiative. Historic Preservation Month, May.
Yeah.
The theme, old is the new green. You know why?
Old is the new green.
Well, because of the Historic Preservation Division wants to encourage people to recycle old buildings, that it makes much more sense to renovate old buildings in downtown areas or wherever you are, rather than actually building new construction.
Yeah.
So even though some people may think that the cost on the front end is a lot more, but over time you actually save, and of course you save green space.
Absolutely.
By not building out in other places.
And a LEED certified building under the renovation program is much easier to obtain because you're using something that's already done.
Right.
You're using a building that's already built.
Yeah.
What better green initiative than to use something that's already there.
Correct. So that's what we will be promoting during Historic Preservation Month, especially now that the economy is the way it is and we have more vacant spaces now than we did in the past. Why not, instead of building new, take a look at what's already here?
Absolutely.
And try to think about an opportunity for reuse.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's the best reuse you can have.
Definitely.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle. So
there you go.
Reuse and recycle right there. Number one, you're reducing the footprint out in the green environment,
right?
Where you'd have to cut down trees and build new buildings. You're reusing something that's already there, and you're recycling its integrity and everything else that's associated with rebuilding a new building.
And I read somewhere there was like, I don't remember the number, but it was like a crazy number of how much retail square footage there is per American. It was a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah, so it's definitely way more than we need. So it's time to think about what we already have and look at it in another way.
Absolutely. And I think we have some local initiatives that are coming up in our community.
Yeah, and I think one of them is being hosted by the West Side Board of Realtors, and it's their Home Expo. It's actually an annual event, or at least they're attempting to make this an annual event. So they're definitely encouraging people to come out to go and take a look at this for home building. It will be in the Target Shopping Center. So if you want more information about that, I would recommend that you contact the West Side Board of Realtors.
All right.
Anything else going on?
That is a lot of information.
A lot. I learned a lot today. I did ask questions. I said I wasn't going to talk that much, but I did at least ask some questions.
I sure hope you learned a lot today. I hope our audience learned a lot, and we'll continue to investigate and invest in green green initiatives. Not only leading EarthCraft, but all the way down to just recycling.
Yes.
Bump those thermostats up in the summertime and down in the wintertime, and let's do all those things that'll make our community that much better.
Try to become more green.
Absolutely. Every little thing helps.
I will try.
We've referenced a lot of information in today's episode. We're going to roll those in just a second so that you can see all the websites that are associated with where you can get more information, as well as some website for the expo that you spoke of, so that people can log on and get more information.
There you go.
So until next time,
I'm Marcia Hampton.
I'm Jeff Noles, and this has been GOV 101.